Hello, my music-loving friends. We are going to be adding the bow diagram to your theory book today. So let's get started. We're going to take that diagram and we're going to cut it just like we did this one, where we cut these lines so that they're all gone. So pick up your scissors and here we go. Watch your fingers. Cutting the top. Cutting the bottom. And cutting this big piece off. All right, and these little scraps go right in the recycling. Okay, so now you have your bow diagram and it's going to be going right here. So you see how I've left a little bit of color showing in between and on the edge and on the bottom so that it will look very neat. It doesn't need to be perfect, but let's do your best to make it neat. All right, so as in the previous video, I'm going to do one of these with the glue stick and one with the liquid glue side by side so you can follow whichever one makes sense for you. Okay, now that you have your bow diagram glued on nice and neatly, we're going to be labeling those parts. As we do that, I'm going to be using a tiny bow. This is for a 1/32 size violin to show you some things, but your bow should be nowhere near here. Again, we don't want to get glue on it. We don't want it to get knocked off the table. It should be safely stored away. You need the writing utensil of your choice. I'm going to stick with black this one last time because I want my diagram to be very visible on the video, but you can use whatever colors make you happy. So up here, there's this arrow pointing to the top part of the bow. This part of the bow is called the point. It can also be called the tip, but in my studio, we say point, and that becomes important later on. So let's label that. The word point is spelled P-O-I-N-T, point. Now there are two arrows in the middle here. This first one is pointing over to the hair. This bow diagram is facing this way. You can see the hair is on this side, and this is another piece over here we'll get to in just a moment. This hair is made of real horse hair. So let's label that. That is spelled H-A-I-R, hair. It's really important that we never touch the hair of the bow with our fingers or any part of your skin. This next part, this is pointing to this, which is called the stick. It's a pretty uncreative and obvious name. That makes it easy to remember. So stick is spelled S-T-I-C-K, stick. Now, different bows in this part of the bow have different things on them. Most of them have this kind of silver winding, but sometimes you'll see some other things there, but there will always be something wrapping around it. And then this little leatherette part right here. This whole section is called the grip. Let's label that. So this arrow is pointing to the grip. It's spelled G-R-I-P. 2 more spots to label. This first one, this black square right here, that is called the frog. That's not just a cute name that we use because children are studying the violin. It's actually called that. That is spelled F-R-O-G, frog. 1 more spot. This piece right here is called the screw. Let's label it and then talk about it some more. Screw is spelled S-C-R-E-W, screw. So now you have labeled everything. Let's talk about how you use that screw. To play, the hair has to be tightened and the screw has to be turned righty-tighty. Watch what happens when I do that. The hair moves away from the stick just a little bit, and now there's a little bit more space and the hair looks flatter. All right. Now, when it's time to put the bow away and you're done practicing, you need to loosen it because that keeps the hair functioning much longer and making a much better sound. So to loosen it, we go lefty-loosey, lefty-loosey, lefty-loosey. You know that your bow is tight enough, tight, 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 when the space right here where the stick and the hair are the closest together is about the same size as the stick. It's probably also about the same size as your pinky. It's ready to be put away. It's loose enough. When the hair looks hairy again, it's no longer flat, but you don't want to loosen it too much because then the screw comes out and you can damage a part of your bow if you do that. There's one final thing that's worth mentioning in this video. I'm going to tighten my bow again, and I'm going to put some rosin on my bow. Rosin makes the bow hair sticky, and so the bow doesn't make any sound until there's rosin on it, and if you don't put enough on routinely, you won't make a very nice sound, but you don't want to put too much either. So we put the bow hair flat on the rosin, and we go like this. Done, ready to practice. So you're done with your theory book for today. Make sure you put it in your music binder so you have it in your lessons. See you next time.